Good afternoon, friend. Just a quick share here on microbiomes, or the community of microorganisms that can usually be found in a given habitat. Specific to microbiomes, let's look at the gut. So gut microbiomes and why they're so incredibly important. So gut microbiomes are basically responsible for helping you digest properly. They're also responsible for development and regulating your immunity, nutritional intake, producing vitamins, and the like. So they have many a function. Important to note too that it's not only within our guts that we have microbiome, but also in our mouth, in our skin. So we have them about our body. But again, specific to this video, we'll just focus on the gut microbiome. So what can be a signal that we're out of balance relative to the gut microbiome that we have? Well, think of things like occasional diarrhea. Think of constipation. Think of things like bloatedness or gas. If you suffer from any one of those things that I previously mentioned, then possibly the likely cause is this out of balance or out of being in equilibrium relative to your gut microbiome or all the microorganisms that exist in your gut. Something also important to note that no singular diet is going to be effective for all of us relative to gut microbiome. And the reason being is your gut microbiome is unique to you. So if I were to eat the same thing that you ate, the same exact meal, that meal may actually be feeding microbes that lead to inflammatory substances being created in my digestive tract, which lead to things like constipation, things like gas and bloatedness, basically unhealthy digestion. Whereas for you and your microbes, it's leading to beneficial kind of results. So given that, it's very important that we do something called a gut intelligence test, just to sort of decipher and figure out what is our baseline relative to our microbes, and possibly what are some of the dietary restrictions that we may have in order to eliminate some of the foods that feed those microbes and microorganisms that lead to those inflammatory substances being created in the first place. So this is really important. And also, something else to consider is supplementation in trying to balance out your gut microbiome. So things like prebiotics and probiotics are fairly important for you to consider. Possibly certain vitamins that could better balance your gut microbiome, or things like food extracts are also things that you can consider. So again, starting out with the gut intelligence test, and thereafter, once you figure out what are the foods that you need to get more of, what are some of the foods that you need to eliminate, compounding that with some form of supplementation should usually be very helpful. For me personally, I think right now I'm at a point where, in terms of adrenal fatigue and stress and anxiety, I'm more in a state of flow where I can focus on things like microbiome and this constant gas and acidity for different reasons. I'll get into this a little bit more, possibly in other videos, but I've suffered from acid reflux for a very long time. I have something called a hiatal hernia, which is that little valve that basically protects us from acid going into our esophagus and affecting the lining of the esophagus being basically gone, as the stomach lining went right into the esophagus. And something like this, if I have a gut microbiome that's completely out of balance and have constant belching and gas and bloatedness and things like this, you can only imagine that there's not enough antacids that I can take that will keep all of the acid in my stomach, because I'm just completely out of line with my microbiome. So at this juncture in my life, because of stress and anxiety and adrenal fatigue not being so much of an issue, I am able to invest a little bit more time and awareness into how my gut microbiome is doing. So I encourage you much the same way to experiment and research for you. There are many proprietors that can lead to this test being taken, and you can do it right from the comforts of your home. Again, wishing you nothing but peace and love. Just a quick share on something that's very near and dear to my heart. Bye-bye.